Charles Edgar Hampton here today, going to show you how to take the case off of a Toshiba Satellite L505. So again, Toshiba L505 Satellite. But if you're bold enough to try this, then you know that the process is essentially the same for all devices. As in, Toshibas are going to be the same. And really, a lot of all laptops are the same. For instance, I promise you, if I peel this off, there's going to be a screw up under it. Ah, funny. Interesting. There is none. The problem we're addressing today is that the charging port has been broken and pushed into the laptop. You can see that there. It still charges if you could get it down in there, but the problem is it's been pushed so far back that it's now inaccessible. So let's get in there. Thankfully, they labeled the Toshiba company was wise enough to label all their screws as either F6, which are the longer ones. F4s are medium ones, and then F3s are the smallest ones. So on the perimeter, that includes the back, side, as you just rotate it on around, all of those are F6s. So again, F6 is here, F6 there. They're pretty much everywhere. The only different types are, there's an F4 here. There's another F4 that's there. You'll see that on the RAM cover, on the hard drive cover. This tiny one that I put back is an F3 for the hard drive, would normally be here. And then F3s here where the battery would be held in place. So, anyway, I'll put that one there just to remember where it goes. So, keep them separated, help you out. The next thing that needs to be removed is the DVD player. If you've taken all of these screws, particularly this F4 here, then you'll notice that's going to move in a hot second. And that was it. That was that one screw that's holding it in there. Anyway, once you get that out of the way, then you now have these three screws here that need to be removed. 1, 2, and 3. These are holding this. Alright. Move those screws. You can now pry up, alright, the top plate, not fully, alright, but you can separate, alright, the top gray panel for the most part, with the exception of a few screws under here that we're about to get to. Alright, show you how that sounds. It's just clicking, just those little snap tabs. Alright, just pull up, that's all. Don't be scared. Alright, that's all it is. Just going around the entire device. Just pull them up. You can see the little snaps right there. There, 1, 2, 3, and 4 with my middle finger. The screws on this Toshiba are on the corners, so you need to remove the corner rubber gaskets. You can do this easily with the fingernail, just bend it all the way open, and you'll be able to get access to them. Do so safely. Alright, that one just pries out really simply. This one will just come around out. Alright, same thing with those down there. You just pick them on out. Put them in a place where you can always get to them and you remember what's where. So that one that came out funny, I need to go find it. It's stuck on the back of my nail. So again, whatever you do, just make sure you can always reverse. Not only are the screws to secure the monitor on the corners, but they're also just to the inside of the bottom as well. So you have to remove those as well. Please also note that the screws that come out of the monitor ports, whatever you want to call it, securing ports, are M6 or F6 screws. Not M6. I don't know what they are metric wise. I just know they're what Toshiba describes as F6, which we can probably assume means M6. But don't quote me on that. So, next thing we got to do, same thing right here. Alright, all you got to do is just put a fingernail or a safe pry tool, if you will, just in between the screen and this black portion, and just carefully pull it. I'm just going to tell you that you can do it, and again you can see, let's see if I can get some light in there. Sorry, I'm not at my usual space. Alright. Alright, now if you got that off, it was very tough. It was very tough. But basically down here, there are clips. What you have to do is pry off these at the base first. Alright. So in other words, once this goes down in there, you have to close it. So you can see this. You're going to have to close it. Once it's closed, pry them apart from the back there. Let me focus this so y'all like what the fudge is he doing. So anyway, it's open. You close it. Pry those apart. You hear it click. When you go on and reopen it, make sure it does not reclose, as in the down here. Alright, it doesn't reset. Then, once you've taken your finger, gone along the edge, popped all those out, remove the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws, all M6. I keep calling it M6 because I know they're metric, but F6. Then, put your hand down there and just pull up. Alright? You got more of an angle if it was down, it'd be more like this. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Just go. Put your hand down there, whatever tool you want to see. You're blessed because I do this stuff blind and show you after the fact. So what you'd have to worry about is not going too deep over here. You have a little plug here, wires here. It's on your left hand side. Alright, that's approximately between the F6 key. Again, camera, cooperate, focus. F6 key and F3 key. So you can see that between F6 and F3 essentially, or rather more accurately between F7 and F3. It's exposed there. And then you have another set that's right over the pause break key, pretty much. Alright. And if you need to, of course, replace your monitor panel, that's all you need to do. You have another couple screws right there that you remove, and then it just plugs in here, and you can replace that one no problem. Alright, now that we finally have the culprit in view, you can see where it's clearly broken. The way this is secured, if you notice, I don't know, let me see if I can make this work. There's a bevel here. You have a lip, then you have a valley, and then you have another lip. It's the second lip that broke off, and what you're supposed to have is this, right here. Alright, and you can clearly see the indentation, alright, where the housing would fit around that. and secure that in and prevent it from going in and out. Alright, so two ways you can always mold and put plastic back together. One is by melting. But since this is such a small piece, I did think about it at first, but I'm not going to do melting. Alright, we're going to go with some crazy glue. Alright, so you know how to use crazy glue. Let's make it. Quick note. How is it that the super glue label has failed? That, to me, is funny. This wasn't taken off for the fact that I don't get paid to advertise for a particular super glue. It just didn't stick, and I find that to be particularly funny, that the adhesive used on a super glue label has failed. Moving on forward, I'm continuing to let the glue cure on the port. Oh man, look at that in high definition, and that nasty. So anyway, since it is doing this so wonderfully close, then I can show you what I am waiting for. When wow, you can even see where it's kind of on my fingernail too. When I press this, you can see right in the crack, you can see it still coming out, oozing out just a little bit. This was a two-handed job, so I couldn't record, so I apologize. But anyway, I now have the port back in there. And so before I go on and clamp everything down, I'm going to very gently place the plug back in there. And it's fine. That's super. Next thing we need to do, which we can't do right now, is double check to see if the lights come on. But we'll do that once we kind of snap everything back in place. But everything fit back fine. The port went in there. The glue was taken off of the edges. And that's super. Next thing, let's put it back together. So I'm going to snap everything down on the top. And all it is gently go and press everything back the way you had it. Alright. Yeah, go back over it multiple times just to make sure. Because what will happen is if you start putting in screws and you push, push an area, not a point, but an area. That'll prevent you from snapping any plastic. Alright, so hopefully you can see this. So what I'm doing is I'm taking it, pull it up first. It's tough once you get it down there, so you gotta be careful. Because, yeah. Alright, so let's see if I can take a step back so you can see it. So I'm considering, look at it from that side view. See how that goes. So get it leveled in there. Notice the things line up and then push it down. One corner at a time. Now it's in there. Alright, now you can just snap. Again, use the entire thumb. Press down an area. Not just a particular point. Being cautious and careful. Again, an area. Alright. Let's put your screws back. Remember I said there was the F6 screws that went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. So let's put those back. To replace those 6 screws, it's of course time to replace your little rubber pads. So go on and put those back. They're sticky, so take your time and be cautious. The reason that these are important, when people slam down the monitor, then remember the round ones went up top. Alright, if you ever forget, just look at what it is. Alright, You have a rounded edge. You have another rounded edge, so it needs to protrude more to give it the cushion. And just look again across the top. You have the rounded ones up there. You have the flat ones where this is going to be flush because this is not as much on the edge as that one. You can go and close this down. Again, be careful. Also, look around the edge. Make sure everything is sealed up. Alright, I've done this already. So, but make sure you don't see any gaps. Especially if you're doing this for someone that doesn't, basically if you're doing this for money. And you most certainly need to do that. This should seal itself up. If it doesn't, just push it back. Alright, or rather pinch it back together. Alright, don't forget that down here, as soon as this comes into focus. Alright, let's try it this way. Yep, sweet. Alright, notice the F3 there. These screws down here, all of them are F3s. If I were you, I would put them back now, because that's what I'm about to do. You can always double check. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. Sorry, it zoomed on focused on my hand and not that. But again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as far as F3 screws, we have 6. And remember, the 6th one goes there. That one odd, quote-unquote, man out. So let's put those back. Alright, remember right where the DVD player goes, you have these little weird flat screws that go there. There are 3 of them. And just go again. 1, 2, 3. And again, you don't need to see me screw, so it's not that kind of sight. Alright, now that you got that back in, go on and take your, alright, sorry about that, your DVD drive. Alright, go on and line it in there. Alright, be gentle with it. Clearly you see that the diagonals there line up. Alright, sorry about the amount of light, so let's see. It makes it a little bit of a different shade, but whatever though. Make sure those line up. Clearly you can see that that needs to line up. It's got a lip on it, or a wedge, if you want to call it. And just be careful. It's supposed to fit right now. I do need the light. Maybe not. It goes right in there where you see the F4. You see it going in there. And if it doesn't get in there just nicely, just take your time. Pull it, maybe a two-hand thing, so don't ever force. What I feel, what it seems like I had to do was the common sense thing. The screw is right there, or the notch is pushed directly behind where that notch needs to line up. And then secure it with a single F4 screw that you have left. If you got more than one F4 screw, I'm sorry for you. Your hard drive back, please note there is an F6 screw right there that needs to be replaced, which would be covered up by the hard drive. So again, make sure to put that. It's by battery tab number 1. After that, just go crazy putting your F6 screws back. So again, you got them all these different places. As you hear dog running around madly in the house. Alright, all of those. And remember, there are some that are even on this side. So, is in the back. Please do keep that in mind. When you replace the hard drive, take it. Alright, set it down. It goes down, then in. Alright? So, or if anything, yeah. Or at the worst, the whole swooping motion again. So either down and then in, or swoop in. So, go on and use the whole swoop in technique. Alright, once you get it in there, then gently push it, or rather pull it. You can do it by the metal case, which is recommended. And you should see that this lines up particularly just this one. This is where your last F3 goes. If you got more than one screw left at this point after you've replaced all the F6s, I'm so sorry. You're going to have to retrace your steps. But I can tell you this nice fact. All of these in here are F3s. This is where the battery goes. The F4 is right here. All the rest, including the ones that secure the monitor, are F6s. So go ahead and screw that back in there. Place the panels for the RAM and hard drive simply by paying attention to the tabs and then using the tabs to go in the appropriate manner. So it's going to go in like such. So keep in mind it's again a notch sticking out. So out towards the battery, out towards the front. So kind of push in at the corner first, or the edge first if you will. Alright, and now you'll be fine. Just screw it down. Would you like to make a cameo? Where's the soapster? There you go. And there. That's it. Just double check. No screws there, no screws there. For my second place, no screws there. We're good. Replace the battery. Alright. Lock the tab. And the final check. Let's plug this up. Plug it in still gently. You don't want to mess it up. You know, it hasn't quite cured yet. And we should see that. That's what you want right there. So, Charles Edgar Hampton showing you a little brief, not a complete takedown or breakdown of a Toshiba laptop, but just basic stuff. So if you needed to swap your screen, showed you how to do that. It's kind of a quick recap. Alright, up under here, 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 and there, and then 2 more for a total of 6. Take those screws out after you uncover or take off the rubber, whether you want to call them buffers or whatever. Once that's off, just pop them up. Remember, take a hand, and you heard them just like that. That simple. And they snap right back because, of course, everything's still kind of screwed in. So, the other thing to get to this down here, and again, continue to be gentle. Alright, you have all of these F6 screws. You had a single F4 here. Then there was an F3 approximately here holding in the hard drive. All of the 5 screws up under here. Up on the battery at F3s as well. Peace and blessings, and take care of your technology because it takes care of you.